Hey, this is a quick video summary of my Rural Economic Development newsletter. It's for the edition dated November 15th, 2024. In this edition, I include Chapter 2 from my recent book, How to Win at Rural Economic Development. Title of Chapter 2 is Self-Help is the Best Help. If you're a community and you want to change, you want to improve your community, you've got what it takes. You've got the first element that you need for rural economic development success. The second element, the feature of this chapter, is the understanding that your success or failure depends on you. It depends on your leaders, it depends on your residents, it depends on your students, it depends on your workforce. But the understanding and the acceptance that your community's future depends on what you do, and what you do right now is the key. I think too many communities are waiting on someone to come in to bring them some project, to design some program, to design some grant that's all of a sudden going to kind of change their trajectory and turn things around. They're waiting on their state government to do something, the federal government to do something. And if they're going to do something, they had already done it. So it's on you. It's on your community. You've got everything you need. You've got the businesses, you got the people, you got the leaders. You've got what it takes. Now, economic development is absolutely a team sport. There's no way you're going to be able to do this on your own. You definitely need partners. So I'm not discouraging you from having partners at the state level, the regional level, at the federal level. But to begin, you've got to come to the realization that the responsibility is yours to do something to change your community, to improve your community. The sooner you do that, the quicker you can have economic development success. In this chapter, I feature a story. It's from Tuscaloosa. It's a case study. It's from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, which is my hometown. And it dates back to the early to mid 1980s. In 1982, General Motors Rochester Products plant, they made carburetors for internal combustion engine and some other things back then. They employed, I think, around 200 to 250 Tuscaloosa residents at the time. They announced that they were going to close the plant. There's a clip from the New York Times where it shows GM's going to close the Rochester Products plant in Tuscaloosa. Well, at the time, Tuscaloosa, in the previous couple of years, had lost several hundred jobs. They lost different factories and companies. So this was even though it's only 250 jobs, this was a heavy blow. It was a gut punch to Tuscaloosa. Their leaders, Tuscaloosa leaders, along with the University of Alabama, which is located in Tuscaloosa, they got together and decided they were going to do something about, if they could, they were going to do all they could to keep the GM plant open. So university officials and community leaders went to the General Motors management and said, what can we do to keep the plant open? General Motors says, well, if you can save us $500,000 a year in cost, we can keep the plant open. So the university entered into a groundbreaking agreement or a promise or a pledge or whatever you want to call it. But basically, the university told them that they would help them find $500,000 a year in savings, or they would pay them $500,000 a year. So GM says, sure, come on. They accepted the offer. So immediately, UA faculty and students went to work inside the plant to find operational efficiencies and other things that could save money. At the end of the day, it was a successful project. University saved General Motors Rochester Products plant $500,000, and the plant stayed open, and the jobs remained in the community. Big win for Tuscaloosa. But that was just the beginning of things. The success they had with General Motors in that project led General Motors to ask university and community officials if they'd be interested in recruiting a new automobile project. It was a Saturn automobile, which I'm sure many of you remember. Some of you younger may not. But the university said, sure, we don't make any cars in the state now, but what's stopping us? Car projects bring a lot of jobs. They bring a lot of money, investment, and they also bring the potential to bring a lot of suppliers, which is even more jobs and more investment. So even though we didn't build any cars, we went for it. We knew that, it was on us to do what we could to kind of bring jobs into the community. And so they recruited Saturn. They ended up losing. Saturn went to Signal Hill. But a few years later, they used the same playbook to land the Mercedes-Benz plant, which is currently in Vance, Alabama. And it's been a huge success. Turned Alabama into an automotive manufacturing powerhouse, a huge exporter of cars. But it all started with a community that took it upon themselves to try to save those 200 jobs, realizing that the future of the city and the community was in their hands. They needed to do something, and they stepped up and put together a plan to do something, and they did it. So at the end of the day, realizing that it's on you, it's on your leaders, it's on your businesses, it's on your residents, on your students, it's on the entire community to kind of come together, get behind a shared economic agenda, and do the things that you need to do to have success, to grow jobs, to attract jobs, and to create opportunities in the community. So self-help is the best help. And please check out a special offer. It's kind of attached to the end of the newsletter, but I'm looking for 1 or 2 communities to host a one-day rural development workshop. There's more details included in there, but basically we'll kind of go through a process that we've used in a lot of communities in the South to help them identify their job magnets and to leverage and grow them to create jobs and opportunities in their community. This is a service. We typically engage with communities in longer range projects and put together plans and stay with them over time and help them implement them. This one-day rural economic development workshop is a way for us to maybe reach more and help more communities. And it's a lower threshold investment-wise on the community end. But I'm looking for one or two communities, and it's free. I'm looking for communities that are willing to host us, give us an opportunity to present the workshop and get feedback so we can kind of fine-tune the process and make it as good as it can be. If you're a community that's interested, please reach out to me via LinkedIn or email. And thank you so much for reading my newsletter and watching this video. Thanks. Bye.